As you may have seen if you checked out that update video on the weekend, this is the week I returned to classes and that will affect these videos. Now the update video covered the negatives of not having much free time to make the mega episodes like last week, but it didn't cover one big positive, and that is right here in my hand. Getting that power bank a few weeks ago was one upgrade to our abilities to travel around playing this game. Well, this is another huge upgrade. Can I get like a key item get sound effect? Yeah, this is what will allow me to exploit the public transit system to go wherever, whenever, for free, and it became active as of September 1st. Now there's really no limit on where I can go. I can search out all kinds of new nest locations. I can go back to Queen Elizabeth Park on a whim, catching and flipping Pokestops along the way, or I could just sit on a bus and get egg hatching progress all day, but I don't think that lends itself to a very interesting video, and believe it or not, I do have other things to do. The first thing I thought I should do is bus back out to UBC to restock on Pokeballs, because if you remember from after that Queen Elizabeth day of catching, I was completely out of them, only holding on to a few emergency Ultra Balls in case something rare shows up. I went to UBC because it turns out that is one of, if not the densest area of Pokestops in the city, aside from a couple cemeteries and parks, but I won't be going there. I can see that thanks to this map here. It isn't a Pokevision clone or anything, doesn't show Pokemon spawns, it only shows Pokestops and gyms. If you want to check out any websites I show in these videos, they're always in the description. While there, I did see that triple lure that I talked about before, the one next to the bell tower and library. That was active for nearly the entire time I was there, and it was a Saturday, still no classes or anything, so I expect there will be no shortage of lures running when there are tens of thousands of students walking around looking for something to do in between classes. Well, UBC exploration was already the focus of an episode, so I won't be repeating that. I will instead direct my attention to a nest here in Vancouver that I've always thought I should visit, but it was always kind of far away, so I put it off. I'm talking about a well-known Charmander nest that has been at Jericho Beach from the very beginning. This one didn't appear to change in the nest reshuffle. You can see it reported here on the Silk Road Atlas, but I did not need to see it there to know about this one. Well, I went with a friend to check out Jericho Beach, try to walk away with some Charmander, and we did indeed find them there. I could edit the video to make it look like they were just everywhere, Charmander encounters left and right, even got this one cluster spawn with two of them at the same time, but the reality is it wasn't the most active nest, and the area that they could spawn is pretty large, so in about an hour of walking the length of the beach, they were only on the nearby list about half the time. We saw only those 4 Charmander, and I caught 3 of them, one ran away right there, and then the second capture was really buggy. My internet wasn't the best out there, so the Pokeball froze up for a bit, then it broke out, but I was unable to throw another Pokeball. It just wasn't working, so I had to run, figured I'd try to battle it again, and it disappeared with an error. After restarting the game, it didn't come back, so I thought I just got screwed out of that one, but it turned out I got that error because I apparently had caught it the first time. I don't know how, I somehow caught it server side, but it broke out of the Pokeball client side. Some weird stuff going on, but it worked out in the end. Well, even though there weren't crazy amounts of Charmander, we did have to work for them. I would still call it a nest. It is more than a consistent spawn. There's no other reason I can think of for more than one Charmander to be spawning there all the time, all the way up and down the beach, especially on a beach of all things. Why are they hanging out by the water? I don't know of any other place in the entire city and surrounding area that you can go to find even one Charmander. Generally around here you'll find the occasional Squirtle, with this being a more northern and coastal region. In fact, we found a Squirtle while there as well. Charmander and Bulbasaur, though, practically do not exist. I say that, but I actually found my first wild Bulbasaur immediately after I hatched my first Bulbasaur while on the bus out to UBC, which was great. I've now been lucky enough to hatch one of each starter, but so far no abnormally high IVs. Charmander and Squirtle were both at 80%, and then the Bulbasaur was 82. There were some lures down at the beach as well, and I thought I'd share this amazing, very rare Pokestop I discovered, Pepe the Bench Sitter. Very sick meme, dude. Well, I went to the beach for Charmander and only got 3 of them, but I got a couple dozen Drowsy because the beach may be a Charmander nest, but the entire city, or more like the entire country, is a Drowsy nest. Look at them out here on the pier. Well, if I ever want to hunt Charmander, that is the place to be until a potential nest shakeup. That said, I may not need to return because it isn't like I'll catch one with good IVs. Wild Charmander are likely to be bad because of that Pokedex IV bug, and nest Pokemon are bad regardless, so the only point is for the candy, but I don't have an immediate need for Charmander candy. If I were lucky enough to suddenly hatch a perfect IV Charmander that I want to evolve and train all the way up, well, there's that buddy system that we should have soon, and I know who I'll be walking with after a hatch like that. For the time being, though, it'll be that 100% perfect of Vulpix. I am actually looking forward to a nest rotation, because the only somewhat convenient one for me is the Queen Elizabeth one, and I'd love to go there for anything but Onyx. On the way leaving the beach, in a stroke of luck, there was a nearby Rhydon, and we did track it down, CP909, not what I expected to find today, and it was caught. Turned out to be max attack, but only around 50% overall. There was a Tauros there too, and a Nidoran, very nice random cluster over here. Well, after all that, I suppose I failed in my main objective of collecting more Pokeballs, because I definitely did do that, but there were so many Pokemon spawning out there that I ended up using them faster than I was collecting. I have no self-control. Not that catching is a bad thing. Catching Pokemon is obviously the point of having Pokeballs, but I'd feel better if I had a bit more saved up. You can see they're very low now. I'd be screwed if I ran into something I really wanted to catch. I even broke my Ultra Ball rule, going for random stuff like a CP1000 Kingler that I didn't really need, if I'm being honest, and it ended up running away after wasting a bunch of stuff. So I think I'm gonna go back to good old Fraser River, which is funny to say after all the time I spent there wishing I had my free bus travel to go anywhere else, but at least with Fraser River I can walk in a loop collecting Pokeballs and hatching eggs without the distraction of Pokemon spawning everywhere, because the spawns there are very rare. Also, I should mention, aside from that Bulbasaur, I hatched 2 5K eggs while out and about, 1 Bulbasaur but no IV luck there, and 1 Porygon, which was pretty cool. I had caught 1 previously, but this one had the chance of being awesome. Unfortunately, no, it turned out to be a triple 12 or an 80%. Well, off to the park. One thing I may never understand is how terrible the automatic team is that it chooses for you when you enter a gym. I have no clue how it balances factors like what you have favorited with just high CP or type matchup. It makes zero sense. Like right here, I want to break down how awful this is. For the enemy Nidoqueen, it makes my lead a 994 Parasect. I can tell you that the Nidoqueen has Poison Jab, Sludge Wave, not Earthquake, so I'm getting destroyed by those moves, and I have the worst attacking moveset for Parasect, Fury Cutter Cross Poison, which is resisted, by the way, both of them, the poison being quad resisted and not even stab, and that also means I have no grass moves for those water types in the back, not like I'm dry skinned, so maybe I should bring, I don't know, my 1332 Hypno with Confusion Psychic to destroy that Nidoqueen while it has nothing super effective for me. Now granted, my Hypno isn't favorited, but neither is my Snorlax, and clearly the game has some awareness of the fact that Snorlax is worth bringing along, but not Hypno apparently. And how about this, my CP 1400 Flareon is favorited too. Same IVs, perfect attacking moveset, and a much better type matchup than Parasect. At least with Nidoqueen, we're both neutral on each other. You might think, oh, the game sees ground type, so better not bring Flareon. But if that's the case, it should also think, oh, poison type, better not bring Parasect. If you're trying to make a case for the Lapras behind the Nidoqueen, as if the Parasect would ever get that far, the Lapras has Ice Shard Blizzard, which once again destroys Parasect but can be handled by Flareon. So objectively, in every possible way, Flareon, which is also favorited, is a better choice than Parasect, not to mention Hypno being the best choice of them all. And then it brings a goddamn 73% IV 599 Bellsprout along? Are you kidding me? I have a CP 939 76% IV Weepinbell that it didn't think to bring. I simply do not understand how it chooses these Pokemon. I've learned many of the mechanics of this game, but how it chooses your gym team, I have no idea. Rant over. In all that walking around, I finally got that 5K egg to hatch, and it will yield a Cubone, which to some of the desert folk out there may seem like an everyday thing, but up here in Drowsyland, you do not see many ground types. I saw a nearby Cubone in the previous video a couple times, but I was never able to find one. So there we go, that's a new find, and it looks like the IVs are pretty good too. I hung out there for just a bit longer because I was about to hit level 23. All I had to do was get a great capture on this Psyduck here, and there we go, level 23. Underwhelming rewards, but the Ultra Balls are nice. I can finally be building my emergency Ultra Ball reserves back up to where they were before. I keep getting rid of regular potions. I have more than enough of the better ones. Finally built up a decent bank of Pokeballs from walking around here. That should make catching less of an ordeal. I took a look at the medals after hitting level 23, because why not? That's an interesting thing to check in on. You can compare what you may have more or less of. Well, I'm here at the end of the week after appraising and transferring what I did not need. Nothing crazy to report. There's that ride-on. Not very good, unfortunately. I did find this CP10 Horsey, which I could power up one time and use for that bubble strat exploit, I guess. The strategy where you level up a gym really quickly by training on low-level mons with bubble because of how long it takes to use the move. With the right Pokemon, you can win without taking any damage and get very quick XP. I've yet to bother with trying that, and I might just not ever try because it doesn't seem very fun, and it obviously isn't intended. The gym prestige system will likely be changed to stop this from happening. I had hoped there would be a fix that came along with this Monday's update, but alas, that update never came, so I just had to get on with recording this video here on Tuesday afternoon. I'm sure they'll release the update as soon as I'm done here, and I'll wish I would have talked about it. I actually expected them to not release the buddy system on Monday or to delay the entire update like they are, because it didn't make sense to me when the buddy system was only a rumor last week. Niantic came out on Friday and confirmed the rumors to get people hyped up about the buddy system. But if they were going to release it on Monday, why would they bother doing that on Friday? It seemed like something they would do if they weren't going to release it on Monday, and just wanted people to know that, hey, we are working on it. Don't worry when nothing comes out on Monday. Here's a little bit of communication. Not transparency, but, you know, something. I'm fine with the delay. It's better that they release a meaningful update than release some feature every 2 weeks. I hope they don't release only that buddy system, because then they're just adding these new features like the appraisal and the walking for candies, which is cool and fun. I appreciate having them, but they really have to be rolling out some fixes and changes along with the big new feature that they want to add. There are many things that do need attention and fixing. I know I'll be very alone on this, but out of all the things that they could add or make for this game, like the big things, trading, battling, Gen 2, the thing I want most that would make the biggest change in how I enjoy the game would be some sort of web client where I can log into the game in a browser or PC application and appraise, transfer, and rename things. Maybe even some other cool features that I won't go into pitching because it isn't like anyone at Niantic is watching this. My phone is not the best, and I want to obsessively appraise and rename everything I have, but it gets annoying to do on a phone that will occasionally heat up and lag. In general, I'd rather have a physical keyboard to work with. If I could be doing all that on a computer, that would be awesome. And you don't need to tell me that I'm an idiot and this is how you log onto your phone on your PC. Yeah, I know it's possible, but I'm talking about a Niantic-approved, non-cheaty way of logging into something very similar to Pogo Profiles. That was a great site, and that goes to show how easily Niantic could get people on it and make something like that. They definitely have the funding. I don't predict that it'll happen anytime soon, if at all, but I really wish I could be typing in nicknames instead of tapping them, and appraising and transferring things with ease. The way it is right now, that part of the game is a chore. Well, that wraps up this week. I suppose this is a sample of the videos getting shorter in contrast to the 24-minute insanity from last week, and this is where any semblance of a weekly schedule will fall away. Who knows when there will be another video? The next time I know anything for sure will be October 4th with the Call of Duty 4 Remastered campaign. Well, I'm not disappearing from the internet regardless. I'll always be reachable through comments or Twitter or wherever. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you sometime.